This episode is presented to you in the form of an audiobook. Have you ever looked at your to-do list, or a pile of tasks, or even just the general state of your life and felt a profound sense of paralysis? You know what needs to be done. You desperately want to do it. You might even feel a deep sense of guilt for not starting, for not pushing through, for feeling lazy. You watch others effortlessly tackle their responsibilities while you stare blankly at a screen or scroll aimlessly or simply feel too heavy to move. If this resonates with you, know this: you are not lazy. You are overwhelmed. Today, we're diving into the psychology of overwhelm, why it's so easily mistaken for laziness, and practical strategies to move from a state of frozen inaction to purposeful progress. The real issue isn't a lack of discipline or willpower, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how our minds react when faced with too many demands, too much uncertainty, or too many choices. So what exactly is overwhelm? It's not just having a lot to do, it's a state of cognitive and emotional flooding, where your brain's capacity to process information and make decisions is exceeded. Think of your mind as a computer. When you open too many programs or try to run too many complex operations at once, what happens? It slows down, it freezes, it crashes. Your brain does the same thing. When the demands on your attention, decision-making, and emotional regulation become too high, your system simply grinds to a halt. This isn't a moral failing, it's a physiological response. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, problem-solving, and decision-making, becomes overloaded. Simultaneously, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, might perceive this influx of tasks and pressures as a threat, triggering a stress response. This can lead to what's known as fight, flight, or freeze. In the context of overwhelm, freeze is often the dominant response. You want to fight the problem or flee from it, but you can't. So you freeze, you become stuck. This brings us to a key concept: decision fatigue. Every single choice, no matter how small, drains a tiny bit of your mental energy. What to eat for breakfast, what to wear, which email to open first, where to start on a big project. Each one is a mini decision. Now imagine you have 100 of these throughout the day, compounded by larger, more complex choices about your career, relationships, or health. Your brain, in an attempt to conserve energy, begins to resist making any decisions, even the most basic ones. That giant multi-step project on your to-do list? It presents so many micro decisions: where to start, what tool to use, how long it will take, that your brain just says, nope, I'm out. This isn't laziness, it's self-preservation. Your brain is trying to protect you from burning out. Another critical factor in overwhelm is the perceived lack of control. When tasks feel too vast, too complex, or entirely outside our immediate sphere of influence, we can feel helpless. If you don't know where to start, or if the starting point seems insignificant compared to the monstrous task ahead, your motivation plummets. You might also be carrying the weight of shoulds. External expectations from family, friends, or society, combined with internal pressures you've placed on yourself. I should be more productive. I should be further along. I should be able to handle all of this. These shoulds add layers of self-judgment and pressure, turning a simple task into an emotionally charged battleground. So how does this overwhelm manifest in ways that are often mistaken for laziness? You might find yourself procrastinating endlessly, not because you don't want to do the work, but because the sheer scale of it feels insurmountable. You might experience apathy, a general lack of interest or enthusiasm, which isn't true indifference, but a protective numbness against the emotional toll of too much stress. Emotional exhaustion sets in, leaving you feeling drained and irritable, even if you haven't physically exerted yourself much. And yes, physical fatigue can also be a symptom. Your body responds to chronic mental stress by feeling perpetually tired. You might find yourself staring at your phone for hours or mindlessly consuming content, not because you're choosing leisure, but because your brain is seeking the lowest energy activity possible to avoid engaging with the demands that feel too heavy. The crucial distinction between true laziness and overwhelm is this. A lazy person generally lacks the desire to exert effort, while an overwhelmed person often wants to exert effort, but is paralyzed by the enormity or complexity of the task. They are stuck in a loop of wanting to do something, feeling unable, and then feeling guilty for their inaction. It's a deeply frustrating experience. The good news is that once you understand that you're overwhelmed, not lazy, you can start to address the problem with appropriate strategies rather than futile self-criticism. First, externalize the overwhelm. Your brain is trying to hold too much information at once. Get it out. Do a complete brain dump. Write down every single task, worry, idea, and obligation swirling in your head. Don't organize it. Just list everything. This act alone can provide immense relief, as it frees up mental RAM. Once it's on paper, it feels less like an amorphous cloud and more like a set of discrete items. Second, break it down into tiny, actionable steps. This is perhaps the most crucial step. That huge project that feels insurmountable, break it down into the smallest possible starting point. If the task is write a report, the first tiny step might be open a blank document or find one relevant piece of data. If it's clean the house, start with pick up 5 items in the living room. Think of it like this. You don't need to move a mountain, you just need to pick up one pebble. And then another. Small, measurable steps reduce decision fatigue and make the task feel less threatening. Third, ruthlessly prioritize. Look at your brain dump and identify the absolute non-negotiable top 1 or 2 things that must get done. Everything else can wait. When you're overwhelmed, less is more. Focus on making incremental progress on a very limited number of items, rather than trying to juggle everything. This creates clarity and reduces the mental load. Fourth, practice elimination and delegation. Not everything on your list truly needs to be done by you, or even done at all. Can anything be delegated? Can anything be eliminated? Can anything be postponed indefinitely? Be honest with yourself about what is truly essential versus what is a should or a self-imposed burden. Fifth, set clear boundaries. Learn to say no. This is incredibly difficult for many people, especially those who are high achievers or people pleasers. But every yes to something you don't truly have the capacity for is a no to your own well-being and energy. Protect your mental space as fiercely as you protect your time. Sixth, cultivate self-compassion. This is not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about recognizing that overwhelm is a natural human response to modern demands. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a struggling friend. Acknowledge the difficulty, validate your feelings, and then gently guide yourself toward the next small step. Guilt and self-criticism only add to the overwhelm. Finally, celebrate micro progress. When you complete one tiny step, acknowledge it. This signals to your brain that you are capable, that progress is possible, and it helps to build momentum. The smallest win can shift your internal narrative from I can't to I can, just a little. You are not lazy. You are a capable individual whose system is simply overloaded. By understanding the true nature of overwhelm and implementing these strategies, you can begin to clear the fog, regain control, and move forward with purpose. The goal isn't to be perfect or to never feel overwhelmed again, but to develop the tools to navigate these moments with greater awareness and self-compassion. Before we end this, I'd like to ask you a quick question. What's one tiny step you can take today to chip away at your biggest overwhelm? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to hear what small changes you're making. And if you want more content like this, subscribe for more psychology-based strategies to improve your life. Thanks for listening, and remember, your capacity is finite, but your ability to adapt and overcome is limitless.